So thanks for joining us today on our webinar. And we're going to be talking about the different reports which are available within Okappy and how you can use them to build your strategy and grow your business. Over the next 20 minutes or so, we'll highlight some of the key reports and the different information that they contain. We'll show you how companies are using them to meet specific objectives. And we'll also show you how to create advanced reports and dashboards so you can see key information at a glance. To ensure this webinar runs smoothly, you are muted at the moment, but yeah, if you could keep your microphones muted until the end when we'll have room for questions. If my broadband does cut out, I'll try and reconnect, so just bear with us. And if you do want the slides at the end of the webinar, just let us know. Just a heads up for next month, I think now it's about the 7th in our series of webinars. We've talked about VAT return charge, some things you might not know about Okappy. We talked about invoicing. We talked about using the network to grow your business. Last time we were talking about GPS tracking. And next month we'll be talking about how to implement workforce management. And then the final one of the year, we'll be talking about job templates, the job template builder. So check out our events page, okappy.com events, where we list all the past and upcoming events. You can also download the slides, the videos are available from there or on our YouTube channel as well. So sign up, follow us on Eventbrite, YouTube, or check out our events page if you do want the slides or videos of any of the previous webinars or this one. Just a quick recap for those who might not know who Okappy is. Okappy is a business-to-business connected workforce management platform which applies social and market networking technology to a real business need, the need to communicate and collaborate when working with employees who are often at different locations. And obviously that's more important nowadays more than ever. It helps you to communicate and collaborate when working with subcontractors, and also when working with your clients. You can provide real-time updates to everyone who's involved in that work. So Okappy is helping the most forward-looking and dynamic companies increase transparency, reduce duplication, costs and errors, and increase efficiency. Ultimately, we're seeing customers on the platform making a significant contribution to bottom line profits and really kind of growing the business through increased capacity and through improved customer service. With Okappy, you can connect to your employees, customers, and subcontractors. You can send and receive jobs, and you can see the status of those jobs as they're updated by your engineers or subcontractors in real time. And you can raise the invoices at the touch of a button. And we also have a suite of reports which helps you see what is happening in your business. They can be downloaded to your favorite spreadsheets, enabling you to manipulate the data. And you can even create dynamic dashboards in Google Sheets and some versions of Office 365, which updates as the information in Okappy updates. And it's this last area I'm going to be talking about today, which reports are available, how to answer them, or how to use them to answer kind of key questions and really help kind of define and improve strategy. So over the next 20 minutes, I'm going to take you through the standard reports which are available through Okappy. I'll go briefly what each contains and things to consider when running the reports. I'll show you how to create additional reports from your jobs and invoices. I'll export a couple of reports to Microsoft Office and Google Sheets. And then I'll show you how you combine reports to provide more advanced information. If we've got time, I'll create a Google Sheet dashboard, which pulls information from Okappy, and then demonstrate how you can really kind of develop complex dashboards which update in real time. Finally, I'll touch on some ideas which some of our customers have shared about how they use the reports and types of reports that they use to really help them grow their business. So moving swiftly on then, so what reports are available within Okappy? I'm just going to pull up our demo account. So all the reports are available from the reports tab. Obviously, just make sure the reports tab is enabled so you can turn on the different tabs from system settings. And the reports are grouped into like key areas. So you've got all the jobs reports. You can run reports on invoices. We've got reports. This tends to be used more for our customers that use GPS tracking devices. So things like activity details, so messages from the devices, routes taken, driving times, etc. And then we've got a group of other reports, so activity details, so everything that's kind of been going on in the business. So as you're raising jobs, raising invoices. You've got a customer database, so kind of like a CRM system where you can see all your customers that you've added onto Okappy. And you can also see site addresses for customers. And again, that's useful, particularly around kind of property management type customers. You can see customers, subcontractors, employees. You can run reports to show documents that you've added to jobs or to customers, subcontractors, employees. And there's various other reports there. Within each section, you can also search the report. So you can search messages, you can search invoices, search jobs. You can obviously also do that from the global search, which I guess what most people kind of use nowadays. But the option is there from within each section of the reports. They're all split up kind of very similar. How to generate reports is similar. So for example, for the all jobs reports, that basically has every job that's been added, so including cancelled, archive jobs, complete jobs, open jobs. A subset to that then is your completed jobs. By default, it doesn't include archive jobs, although you can include archive jobs if you want. And then you can further segment that down into jobs for customer, jobs by employee, or jobs by subcontractor. Likewise, in invoices, you've got your invoices received. So that's invoices received from suppliers or subcontractors. All our invoices are in there as well. Obviously, we're a supplier to you guys. So any invoices that we raise, you can see them within invoices received, and then download them, add them into a dashboard, however you want to use them. Likewise, invoices raised, all the invoices you've raised. And to note as well, you can search. So when running a report, it tends to be the same kind of format. Add the dates that you want to run the reports to and from. Select the kind of date you want to use. So for example, for jobs, it could be the date the job was added, the appointment date, the completed date. With invoices, the date the invoice was raised or its tax date. And then you might have additional options. For example, if it's invoices for customers, you'll have your list of customers there. So all very similar. So to run a report, say if I go run a report from last year, choose the date the jobs were added, generate that report, and you can see straight away all the jobs that have been done or added onto the system over that period are shown. Like within a lot of parts of Okappy, we have the filter, so you can quickly filter down to specific information. So anything within that job, postcode, reference, for example, you can quickly find that information. Just one thing to note with those filters, the system does actually remember where you are. So if you go to, for example, the job screen, then come back to the report, run that report again. The filter is saved, so you can see it'll be there next time you go into that report. Okay, so those are the kind of the main reports that are available. I won't go into kind of detail about each one. They're pretty kind of self-explanatory. We do have a little kind of tips next to each report, which shows what they cover, what information is in there. And obviously, you've also got the help and support pages where we include step-by-step instructions for each individual report. If you do have any questions, I mean, feel free to pop them in the chat, and I'll hopefully get to them at the end. And if not, I'll get back to you after today's webinar. But those are the kind of main kind of reports. Once you've run the report, you can obviously export that to, well, you can export it to Excel, you can export it to Google Sheets, or you can email it to a connection to a colleague or to any other email. With certain reports, for example, invoices for customers, you can also produce specific files for other systems. So for example, for TradeX, if anyone uses that, you can create a report which allows you to upload your invoices more easily into TradeX. Similar to the reports from the invoices screen, you can do the same thing if you're using older versions of, say, for example, Sage or Cashflow. You can create a file which can then be uploaded into that specific accounting system. Just while I'm in this screen, you can actually create a report from here as well. So if you click export here, it'll export these two jobs. Likewise, invoices. Likewise, in the job screen, export jobs, that'll export this screen into a spreadsheet as well. So that's a relatively recent addition, and some customers find that quite useful. Just check where we're at. So exporting reports, exporting them to Excel. So run the report, and then simply click the export to Excel button. You've got a couple of different options here. So you can download the file, or with newer versions of Excel, particularly Office 365, and I'll talk more about this in a sec when we talk about the dashboards. You can actually create a formula which creates a link from Excel direct to Okappy, and then that spreadsheet will automatically update if new jobs get added into this report. The spreadsheet will automatically update, so it saves you having to download it each time. But if I want to download the file, simply click the download file option, and that's gone into my downloads file, and I'll just open that. There you go. So you see it's exported all those details from that report, and obviously you can format the data. You've got links for your job sheets in this case. You can add filters, sort the data, do more with it. Likewise, exporting to Google Sheets. Same thing, just click the Google Sheets option. Here, obviously, Google Sheets is a web-based system, so it's not creating an actual file. But same thing, it's created the formula which Google Sheets uses. So click copy formula. If you've got Google Sheets open, you can obviously cut and paste into that Google Sheets, or click the alert, and that'll create a new Google Sheet for you. Obviously, it does require a Google username and password, so you do need to be logged into Google Sheets to use this. But Google Sheets open, choose your cell, Command V on a Mac, Control V on Windows, and you say there, same thing, it downloads all the data. Again, you can kind of manipulate it. So if I choose date, likewise, Command Y there. But the beauty of this is that if any jobs get added within this period, they'll automatically get updated on this spreadsheet. Fortunately, with Google Sheets, there's no settings which show when that update will happen. Normally, it happens every time you open the Google Sheets. But if you do open it quite quickly in succession, then Google does try and be smart, and it won't kind of re-requesting the data. If you do need to force the data to reload, the easiest way I find is to go into the formula, maybe just change one of the parameters, and that will force it to pull the data back at that stage, and then maybe put it back to what it was. And that's the kind of the best way of forcing it to update. But as I say, most of the times it'll update as you open the sheets, and as it sees changes. So you've got that kind of real-time aspect. Okay, so a lot of times we get questions around, well, how do you combine reports together? So say, for example, I've got the jobs report, and I want to see the emails for a customer. How do I get that into the jobs report? Well, the way to do that is through the power of VLOOKUPs. So for those of you who don't know, basically a VLOOKUP allows you to get data from one table, search for it in another table, and pull the two together. So in that case where we wanted to get the emails, what I would do is run either the all jobs report or the completed jobs report to give you your list of jobs. Then run the customers report to give you all your list of emails. And then you can combine those two reports together. So you've got a jobs with an email. And that can be used, say, for example, for marketing. Say if you wanted to send out an email to everyone who's done a gas safety check in the last year, and you want to kind of offer a service again this year. So to demonstrate that, if I run the customers report first, so I download that file. I'll do the same with the all jobs report. Let's do that over the year. Download that file. Then if I open those two files up, okay, so what I tend to do is I'll copy the two tabs into the same spreadsheet. So if I click move or copy, so that gives me a spreadsheet with both my jobs data, which I've just downloaded, and my customer data. You can see here, if I just pull out some of these columns. So this is the column that I want to pull into my job details. So I've got the customer here. So to pull in the email into this report, I've got the customer for the job. I've got my customer tab. What I want to do is look for this customer in the customers tab and then pull in the relevant email. So the way to do that using VLOOKUP, or the easiest way is to use VLOOKUP. So I'm looking up cell F9, so the customer. Next, I'm going to choose the table where all the data is held. I choose the column that I want to pull back. What I tend to do is I'll do the initial column first, so the customer column. And that it's a good check to see whether it's pulling back the right data before I try and find the specific data. And then the final option is approximate match or exact match. I always tend to use the exact match. I think in this kind of case, it's most relevant. But you see here, it's pulled back. I can see that it's pulled back the right customer. So now I'll go back in. I'll choose the column that I want to get. So column 1, 2, 3, 4. If I change that to column 4. And there you go. Now I've got a spreadsheet with my customers and with their emails. So copy that down. Okay, so the reason why it's coming up NA is because I haven't set the table. So add a $, $A, $6, $N, $11, and that just makes it keep the same table when I copy the formula down. And there you go. So now I've got my report with all the jobs over a period. With the email, now I can use that. For example, if I had a filter, so say if I wanted to send an email to everyone who did a gas safety check. There we go. There we go. I've got my list of emails. I can upload that into MailChimp, upload that into my CRM system, or even send an email from Okappy or a text message from Okappy saying, yeah, you did a job last year. Perhaps it's time to do another gas safety check again this year. Other formulas I won't go into, but HLOOKUP does the same kind of thing, but looking across rather than looking down. You can also use index match to find specific kind of cells in one sheet compared to another. Obviously, there's a lot of kind of support both within Excel and Google Sheets, and Googling is always useful. Equal cell again can pull information from one to the other. And pivot tables as well. If we get time, I'll show you in the dashboard section, but they're quite useful to get kind of, for example, invoices raised per a customer, total amount of invoices raised, total amount of jobs done, for example. But I'll show you some examples of that when we get to the dashboard. So let's bear with me. Okay, so yeah, so now's probably a good time to talk about the dashboard functionality. Just let me pull up. So with both Excel and Google Sheets, you can create dynamic dashboards which pull the information in using those formulas. Excel's not as friendly as Google. Google's a bit newer. It's designed to be kind of web-based. Excel, it works in certain versions of Excel. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for Excel for Mac. I'm on a Mac today, so I can't kind of demonstrate it. But with Office 365 on Windows, you can do the same kind of thing as what I'm going to show you with Google Sheets. But you can build really kind of quite complex dashboards. And this is an example of some information or a dashboard that we've built. You can see things like customers, so pulling in from the customer reports. You can see when they've added new customers over a period. You could look at revenue per customer. So using the invoices report, if I pull that in, and then use a pivot table to work out the total amounts of invoices raised over a period for each customer. Likewise, jobs per customer, types of job. So that can be quite useful, particularly around kind of things like hiring decisions. If you're doing a lot of jobs, like gas safety jobs, for example, then it might be worth kind of thinking about kind of bringing on more resource or more experience in that area. And you can graph them as well. So if you just select the table, you can create kind of nice graphs and even kind of areas. You can show the location of jobs. And again, we find our customers, particularly when they're nationwide or even international, it's useful seeing where the jobs are being done. Because again, often in terms of hiring, do you need to kind of take on people in particular areas or take on more subcontractors in different areas, or even think about kind of marketing, promoting, and trying to get more work in maybe areas where there's been less work. So yeah, so that's how to create the dashboard. And yeah, I mean, this is some examples of spreadsheets or dashboards that customers have created. So the gas safety check report, some of our customers use that to see when all the customers that had a gas safety check, say 11 months ago, and then you can do a mailing, maybe offer a discount and try and build up business, often kind of like repeat work, do that again this year. Number of jobs per day. and per month is useful for companies that have seasonality. For example, if I know that over the year October is always a busy time, then I'm kind of forewarned. Again, kind of recruitment, taking on subcontractors, it might be worth kind of doing that ready for that increase next month. And likewise, if it's a decrease, if October's a quiet time, then maybe that's when you run your gas safety check, send out an email through MailChimp or whatever, maybe offering a discount, and it's a chance to kind of use up spare capacity. And we see customers doing that, kind of really kind of getting to grips with the work that's been done over the year, where they want to take the business, and using that to kind of really utilize capacity most efficiently, and really try and kind of grow revenues and increase business. As always, there's lots of help and support within Okappy, so okappy.com support. Step-by-step information there. Obviously, I didn't show you the Excel kind of dynamic integration, but there's step-by-step instructions there how to do that. Also, for all the different reports, there's a lot of more information about what they show, and how to pull off those reports. Again, that's all available from the support pages. We also have some short videos, self-explanatory videos, and there's questions and answers there within the forum, so you can see questions that have been asked previously and the answers back. So that's another kind of useful kind of port of call. Cool. So yeah, just looking at time, so pretty much out of time. So thanks for attending today. Heads up for our next event, as I mentioned, 20th of October, same time, Wednesday, 20th of October. We're going to be talking about how to effectively implement workforce management. So useful for if you haven't got anything in place, or if you're kind of new to Okappy, you might find that quite useful. And then the last one of the year in November, we'll be talking about the job template builder, how to create different templates, different job types. And that's kind of quite useful, particularly if you're analyzing the types of jobs done. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions, we've got a couple of minutes, if happy to take them now. Yeah, I think we've got a couple in the chat. If I don't get time to answer them, we'll get back to you afterwards. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, thanks for attending. Yeah, so a couple of questions here. Which versions of Microsoft Excel can you use? Well, I mean, Okappy is compatible with all versions of Microsoft Excel. For the dynamic link that I was talking about, you'll need it's best to use the latest version of Office 365. And as I mentioned, that's kind of just on Windows, unfortunately, for the dynamic aspect. No question, is there any limits to how many jobs you can upload into your spreadsheet? Well, I mean, again, talking about older versions of Excel, it did used to be an issue that you could only have, I think it was about 16,000 rows. On the latest versions, though, that you can have up to 1 million rows. So that should be enough, well, like plenty for most of our customers. Likewise with Google Sheets, there's no particular limit, although there are limitations in terms of how many rows can be copied at one time, or when they're imported, how many it can import in one go. Sometimes that does crop up. Say if you're trying to run the report over a long period of time, say a couple of years, if you're doing a lot of jobs, then that might be over the limit. So the first thing to check is the dates that you're using, and potentially kind of reduce that down, or run kind of multiple kind of imports. The other thing with Google Sheets as well, it's worth considering kind of how powerful your computer is. The bigger the spreadsheet, the more calculations it's trying to do, the more memory. it's using, and obviously that's kind of using resources from your computer. So if it's too big, there's potentially it could freeze your computer. Yeah, someone asking about the different formulas that you can use. Yeah, I mean, I showed the VLOOKUP is the one I tend to use a lot, and pivot tables. But I mean, it's really down to choice, your own experience. Often you can use different formulas or combine formulas to achieve the same results. As I said, I use VLOOKUP a lot just because I'm familiar with it. It's down to you really. Again, it's kind of step-by-step instructions on our support side around using VLOOKUP in particular. And there's a lot of information out there if you kind of Google like formulas, spreadsheet formulas. There's obviously plenty of stuff out there. Can Okappy help create specific reports? So yeah, I mean, I talked about kind of combining reports. We do have customers that look for specific reports based on requirements for their own customers, or they want to put together a specific dashboard. Yeah, I mean, we do offer consultancy, which can be used to develop reports or dashboards in Excel or Google Sheets. And we've done a lot for specific customers. And yeah, related, do you cover reporting on any of your training? Yeah, our advanced training is tailored to your specific requirements. So we have covered reports in the past. Certainly it's something we can cover, as well as advanced kind of spreadsheet skills as well. I mean, we're not obviously kind of professional kind of Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets experts, but yeah, we do have a lot of experience. We use it ourselves, and certainly it has come up in the training in the past. Cool. Well, I think that's the last of the questions. Yeah, thanks for attending. And yeah, look forward to seeing you next month.